Let's take a look at what is happening behind the scenes. So when you talk on mobile through the voice commands, it's essentially using the assistant, which is here, which allows you to chat. Think of it as ChatGPT or Claude. The big difference is that unlike Claude and ChatGPT, where the configuration, the context is often hard to understand in routine, not only is it clear from here when you have a chat, it's listing exactly what it has access to, meaning which objects or pages, etc., but also which integrations it's going to be using. But the real beauty happens with the configuration here, because you can give your assistant a bit more information about who you are. And this is, again, very explicit. So you have two things, instructions, which are kind of the basic role of the assistant, but the user preferences allows you through an editor to tell you a bit more about who you are and how you would like it to behave. And the beauty, again, comes from the linking, because you can link to any object in your system, a calendar event, a page, a task, a project, whatever you want. So what I've done here, because I'm part of many organizations, which wouldn't be a problem for most people, but it can be for me. So to avoid any ambiguity, I'm going to tell it two things. First is which team I'm really using. And so I'm saying for everything related to my team, see team. And team is just a page. So I'm linking to a page. And the page basically says, my organization is Acme, which is this one, and the workspace is default, which is one workspace, as you can see here, with some databases and some pages, etc. So fairly easy. The second thing I'm doing is tell it more about me. And I'm saying my personal preferences regarding meeting, etc. are here. And what is this? This is a database. And so you can really use it as a skills database, which is, again, for each one, you can indicate what your preferences for meetings, like I prefer to have meetings in the afternoon, my Calendly link is this one, and when I'm running late, if it's an internal meeting, like with people from my company, use Slack instead of emailing. But when you're emailing to cancel, for instance, use that kind of subject, offer to use my Calendly link, but in a gentle way. All of those things you can configure very, very easily through the assistant configuration. So that's exactly how, when I tell it I'm running late, not only can the assistant look at my calendar and see the meeting that is about to take place or is currently underway, it can pull the participant and see if this looks like an internal meeting, which it was. And so as a result, it's going to use Slack and send an internal message instead of sending an email, which would be more for people outside. So next, what we did is that we told the assistant through the voice commands to update the system, because we had met Dropbox CPO, we had a bug, and this needed to be resolved very quickly. So what it did, because again, it understands what's my team, even though if you had only one team, that would not be necessary. Through your team, it knows which databases it has access to. And so what it found this, which is the customer databases, it found Dropbox, and so it updated the profile with some activity, which is when it met the CPO and what happened. It also created a bug in the database of development, which is basically the roadmap, the bugs and feature requests. So it created a bug in progress, and most importantly, it linked in the graph the impacted customers. And that's really the key part, is that you didn't have to do anything. It understood that this was related to Dropbox, the bug was related to it, and so it needed to add this information to make it as rich as possible. In addition to this, it did create a task to fast track it, which is here. You can see fixed automation bug, assign it to Alexandre, put the priority to P0 to fast track its resolution. Again, it understood by itself that the priority P0 was the right one. By creating a bug here, one thing happened is that I also connected GitHub, synchronized it bidirectionally to routine, which meant that whenever something happened inside the database of development, an issue was created in GitHub. You can find this here, which is act on new bug, and is going to create an issue here in GitHub. And then it's going to assign it to Cursor so that it can be fixed automatically by Cursor. So you can see here, a new bug was created. It was assigned to Cursor. Cursor found the issue, fixed it, created a merge request, and that was all good. But in addition to that, you told the assistant that you wanted to be reminded when the bug was resolved. And so what it did is that it created another automation which is slightly unique in the sense that, so it's an automation that reacts to something. So same thing, the database of development. So whenever something is happening in this database, it just wakes up and looks at it. And the automation, which is again has been written by the assistant by itself, says that if the bug, the item in question is the bug, then notify Andrew Reynolds that this it can come back to Dropbox over the phone and delete this automation, which means that it's a one-off automation. It's going to run only once. And so what's going to happen is that if I do this and I put it in completed, this automation by itself is going to wake up and notify me that I can call Dropbox. I could have other things. I could have another automation send an email automatically to close the loop and tell the customer the bug has been fixed. This would be, again, a two-line automation, which would in other systems be quite complicated because you don't have access to the different integrations, or just because it lives outside of your main system. So everything becomes more complicated. So here you can see that it jumped from 2 to 3, which means that we did receive a notification telling us that the automation bug had been fixed. And so we can come back to Dropbox. Let's take it to another level. I'm going to try to do something which is likely crazy and not really achievable, which is to let an AI run a company. This is actually possible in routine, and I'm going to show you how. First thing I'm going to do is that I'm going to integrate my emails so that the AI can actually see what's happening directly inside my account. You could connect your support emails if you wanted to, basically anything that you wanted to. So that's one thing. The second thing that we're going to do is create a new database for, let's say, reasoning, which is nothing more than brain, something that we're going to use for the AI to explain to us what's happening in his brain. So we have the database of emails, we have the database of reasonings, and that's it. Next stop is we're going to create an agent. So as you can see, we already have some agents. We have a catalog of agents that you can reuse. All good. But what we're going to do here is more interesting, is that we're going to do something like Almighty CEO. So create a custom agent. And this custom agent, we're going to pin it to have it available in your menu. So here. And we're going to give it some instructions. So the instructions are going to be fairly easy. It's going to be something like, you are the CEO of the company. You see everything and decide what to do. Okay. Then what we're going to do is create an automation, something like, React, analyze, decide, and act next, something like that. And so that's where the magic happens. We're going to create a reaction-based automation. And we're going to select all the databases in our system, even the emails, except the reasoning, so that it doesn't create an infinite loop. But you get the point that the automation here is going to wake up, so be triggered whenever anything happens in any of the databases of the system. And because that includes the tasks and the projects and the developments, the roadmap, the bugs, etc., including emails, and also the CRM, which we have also synchronized as we saw earlier. Anytime something is created, updated, or deleted, this is going to run. And so we could do something like first analyze what is happening, decide what should be done next, then create a new entry in, and I'm going to put the, how was it called, reasoning, in the reasoning database to explain what you think should be done next. That's it. So the goal is fairly simple. Let's just see how he thinks and what he thinks should be done next. And we could even do something like, remember that you had access to all integrations, and we could list the ones like Asana, Gmail, etc. But that's not really necessary because it knows already that it has access to all those tools, so it will find out by itself. Okay, then let's take something, I don't know, like let's say a client, like this one. This client, we're going to move it to, let's say, signed. And we're going to wait and see what this AI actually figure out what should be done next. Okay, let's take a look at what it actually did. So it did create an entry in the reasonings database. So what it did is that it did analyze the opportunity, which was the customer moving in the pipeline. The customer is connected to Attio because that's the CRM that we connected. And it decided that the next step would be to basically assign someone to onboard the customer. And you have more information about the recommended next step. Now, in this instance, we really asked the AI to think and share the thinking more than act. But we could have done something a bit more aggressive where we would have asked, okay, create whatever is necessary to move the thing forward. Would have probably created something in an onboarding database, or even created the database by itself, maybe send an email to a customer, etc., etc., etc. So all of that is possible. Now, the scary thing with AI automation is that you often worry that it's going to do something that you don't want. For instance, giving access to your emails is stressful because you're always afraid that it's going to send an email that is going to damage your reputation. Now, in routine, that's basically handled through a mechanism that we call human in the loop, which is whenever the AI is unsure, and you can basically really make that a priority in the prompt. So whenever it doesn't really know what to do, or it needs to have your input, it asks for you to jump into the conversation, which is the AI automation, to give it more information or just answer a question. And that allows you, again, to not only kind of unblock an AI that doesn't really know in which direction to go, which would be very powerful for this kind of almighty CEO situation. But the other scenario is more, I want you to come back to me whenever you are doing something critical because I want to validate. And that's also something that it can do. Okay, let's give it a try. We're going to use our database of emails, which is bidirectionally synchronized with routine, and an automation which lives in one of our agents here, which is handle complaints, which is nothing else than scanning your emails. And if something's happening, basically sending me a notification for me to take a decision. Note that we could have achieved the same thing with the kind of almighty CEO, either by letting it basically take that decision, or by giving it a bit more information about if someone complains, maybe offer 5% discount or whatever. And so I've asked a colleague to send an email. The email then needs to synchronize with the database, and then it needs to trigger the AI automation. But actually, we already received it, as you can see here. That's it. That's the one. The decision needs my input. So if I open it, this is what I have. I've got the reference, which is a link to the email. It's not very digestible because it's all bidirectionally synchronized data. But the beauty is here. I can add a tick to answer. I can also edit. And so what I've just done is basically told the AI to resume its automation by taking into account that I've given him a bit more information, such as the 40% and yes as the action. And so the AI is going to answer the email by itself to close the loop and offer this 40% discount. Again, something fairly easy to achieve, but without the AI being fully autonomous in that case. As you can see, it doesn't really know what to do. It has an idea of maybe offering 20%, which it just figured out, and it asked for your approval. So all in all, if I were to summarize routine, it's basically first a context graph, which is basically capturing all the information where you work. It could be creating tasks, pages, projects, customers, etc. But even more, connecting your external services so that that data bidirectionally synchronized with routine, but also enriches the graph through additional relation, allowing to connect maybe a customer in Salesforce with an email or a support ticket in another tool. And from that context, which really gives it the backbone for AI to operate and execute autonomously, then AI can really either automate work or it can interact by asking questions, which is what we did in the mobile voice command example, by asking it if we didn't close the Dropbox account, that would endanger our objective for the quarter. And finally, if AI is unsure, it can basically include you in the loop so that you can give it more information or you can take a decision. And the beauty is, overall, that AI is great for gathering, aggregating data, which it can thanks to the context graph, but it can also present that data to you in different forms because of the visualization that routine already provides, so that the human, which is a visual creature, can take those decisions so that AI can continue.